Valorant just released their newest map Lotus, and today I'll be going over what I think are the best agents that you can play on this map. I will say straight away that you can easily play any character that you want and still perform well with them, but this map is definitely suited to some agents better than others. Also, it's worth keeping in mind I'm making this video right after Lotus released, so in the future as agents are buffed and nerfed or if the map gets changed, this video might not be as applicable. Start things off looking at the Sentinels. Easily the best agent on Lotus is Killjoy. I especially love playing her on the C side, but in general, her utility seems to fit perfectly pretty much everywhere on this map. Whether it's the nanoswarms in tight choke points, or the insane ultimates you can put down, it's super easy to get an insane amount of value out of her. If you don't want to play Killjoy, Cypher is still a decent option as well. Between his trips and a lurking playstyle, you can get a lot of map control, so I definitely wouldn't count him out. I will say though, having something to watch the flank is going to be very important on this map, so you definitely want at least a Killjoy or a Cypher on your team. For the Sentinels, that then leaves us with Sage and Chamber. When it comes to Sage, she's viable. Just like on any other map, her wall and slow are great for stalling the enemies. Not much else to say about her, to be honest. She's alright here. And then Chamber isn't in a great spot right now after his nerf. He's definitely not bad on Lotus, and in fact I think it's actually a decent map for him, but when you compare him to the rest of the Sentinels, he's just outclassed by them right now, so I wouldn't play him here. Moving on to the Initiators, both Sova and Fade are incredible on this map, and I had a hard time deciding which of the two was better. At first I thought Fade C's could get a lot of value, especially on defense, pushing out into A main or C main, and it can, but at the end of the day I think Sova is a higher priority pick, simply because his ultimate is the only consistent way to break Killjoy's lockdown, which is going to be inevitable on this map. In theory, a Brimstone ultimate could work too, but I just don't think this is a Brim map, and then with the Rays or KO nades, they're not always going to be consistent, hence the importance of a Sova. Fade is still a strong pick, but Sova is going to be huge for shutting down the Killjoy, especially if you use his shock darts to take out her other util as well. So those are the two recon initiators, now onto the flashing ones. KO is also really strong on Lotus. I haven't tested much with him yet personally, but his knives are going to be able to clear out a lot of space, and on top of that there's going to be a lot of lineups that you can use to get your knife into spots where the enemy can't even break it. Breach is actually pretty good on this map too. There's a lot of laneways he can put his stuns down, his ultimate covers entire sites, he's going to be able to cause a good amount of havoc here as well. And then that just leaves us with Skye, and I just don't think she's great here. Fade and Sova both give you better information, and KO has great flashes to match Skye's. So there's just not much reason to choose her in general, but especially here on Lotus, because again, it's such a good map for those other initiators that I've mentioned so far. If I had to choose just one initiator, I'd probably go with Sova and say he's the best, but KO is still crazy on Lotus and so is Fade. Any of those three are going to work, and again, even a Breach in the right hands. With the Duelists, it's basically the same as most maps, to be honest. Jet is going to be a safe pick, there's a few good operator angles that you can use, and also Raze is going to be a safe pick, especially on A. There's a lot of early aggression you can have on the defensive side. Neon and Yoru I'm going to say the same thing about. They're both pretty niche agents that work decently well here. I don't think they're the best choice, but they're okay, and I think Lotus is one of the better maps for both Neon and Yoru. And then we have Phoenix and Reyna. They don't really do anything too special on this map. In the grand scheme of things, they aren't incredible agents, but in a ranked environment at least, you'll still have people insta-locking them and running it down anyway. Realistically, you can play them fine and still frag out, but Jet and Raze are just better. When it comes to the controllers on Lotus, Astra and Omen are the safest options. Dome smokes are better than walls on this map, and then when it comes to Brimstone, only having 3 smokes and limited range isn't ideal here. Personally, I prefer Astra over Omen, especially since he had a nerf to his one-ways in the new update. However, Astra can be pretty hard to play if you aren't familiar with her abilities, since there's a lot to learn when it comes to using them in the right place at the right time. Similarly to Killjoy, Astra's stun and suck are super effective in the tight choke points on Lotus, so there's a lot you can do with her here. Viper and Harbor can work, but again, Dome smokes just fit a lot of the choke points on this map better than walls do. Although I will say for Harbor that there being 3 sites is technically a good thing for him because there's more retaking going on, and obviously that is going to suit his kit. For now though, it's nothing too crazy, but as people get better with him or if he gets more buffs, I can see Harbor being good on Lotus as well, but for now, I would just stick with Astra or Omen. So that is all the agents for Lotus. To recap, the best Sentinel is going to be Killjoy, Cypher is a decent option as well, the best Initiator is probably Sova, but Fade and KO, very strong options too. The safest bets for Duelists, as per usual, Jet and Raze. And last but not least, for controllers, you want to go with either an Astra or an Omen. That's how I rate the agents on Lotus, but let me know what you think too. Is Killjoy the strongest agent on this map, or is it someone else?